Didn't give me a chance to have one more deep breath.
Oh, damn, my bad.
He said we're live.
Do you want me to like just scrap the whole thing? Tell them
Right.
no live sale today?
I think we should just write.
He did not get his last breath in.
Burn it all down.
There'll be many other breaths.
I'm not comfortable with the situation now.
Oh, no?
No, you said there was going to be the one more last deep breath. You took one.
Well, I took it.
I was working.
Take it for the both of us.
Oh, okay. Well,
Right.
you took it for the both of us. That's all right.
It's community last breath, right?
Oh, appreciate that, then.
You're welcome.
All right.
Very welcome.
What's going on? Sunday.
Yeah, it's Sunday.
Sunday, the Lord's Day.
Cold out today.
It's fucking cold, though.
Yeah.
What is going on? We had a really, really mild winter, though. Like, in the grand scheme of
It
things,
was really mild.
this global warming thing is working out splendid. Like, so far, I have no complaints whatsoever. So global warming wants to continue doing its thing to allow for mild winters in Edmonton. I'm okay with it. I mean, I'm not okay with, the whole, like, imminent destruction of the planet, or
No,
like, I'm
me
not
either.
okay with that. Like, I'm not rooting for
Like
that.
a catastrophe. Maybe.
I'm not rooting for that. I'm just I would enjoy tempered conditions.
Tempered conditions.
Right.
Like, what do you mean by tempered conditions?
Well, because
Like,
it's fucking
go a
cold
little
as
bit
balls
further
here,
detail,
right? Like,
right.
it's cold
So
as
you want
balls.
to be like tropical?
No, I don't need that. I just, shave another 5 degrees off where we've been this year. And I would say, like, because it's a bit of an anomaly, the temperature outside right now.
Right.
It's a bit of an anomaly. Otherwise, it's been fairly smooth sailing this winter.
It hasn't been really bad.
So I would take that, shave 5 more degrees off.
Shave it off, baby.
Right. Just come on, Lord. Work your weather magic.
Oh, is there a weather magic?
I would imagine the Lord has some sort of weather
Is that like
magic.
a spell you learn or a
Son of
summon?
a bitch, what are you talking about? What's going on? Everybody, look.
No, what's
people.
up?
I see 6
There's people here.
What happened to the
Yeah.
Oilers? What happened to the Oilers? Dude,
Why?
okay, Jack Campbell is
I like
a
that.
train wreck. He is an absolute train wreck. The Oilers, with the scoring, look, McDavid's up by like 30 points on the guy that's next. The next guy's Draisaitl, who's up on Kucherov still by like 7 more. Draisaitl, these guys are ridiculous. Jack Campbell can't hold his own. He is, he makes us look terrible. Like, we just cannot do anything about this goaltending situation.
So you mean a train wreck in a bad way?
I'm looking at football cards in my defense.
Oh, yeah.
In my defense there. He's a train wreck in the type of way that he lets in way more goals than he's supposed to be letting in.
Why do you think he does that?
Because he's garbage. He's a trash bag goaltender.
Is he garbage, or is he just doing that on purpose?
He is. Fuck. I hope he's doing it on purpose. That would be a better look for him. Like, at least then it would be like, because he's like a vindictive douche or something. Right. Trolling. Like, at least that I can get behind is like there's a little bit of comedy involved.
So you just think he's more of just a dummy, can't play.
He's a bum, dude. We overpaid for a goaltender again that's just not a starting goaltender. And we're paying for it because, like, we clearly don't want to put Skinner in. We left Campbell in last night, like, for like 6 goals or 7 goals. It was normally you pull a guy to like spare him the humiliation. He'd be like, dude, this is not your night. Let me save you.
Why did they do that?
Because they know he's garbage too. So they're like, look, you sink or swim, dog. When it's your time that's up, you're getting paid lots. You sink or swim. Like, clearly, what else could they be doing?
These guys are all whippets.
He's nonsense. And it's going to make Connor McDavid, like, okay, Ekholm, we gave up a lot for Ekholm. Like, I think Barry is...
Do you think too much? Like...
It's tough to quantify just yet because what Ekholm does, apparently, and I don't watch a lot of Nashville, where Ekholm's from, is a lot of stay-at-home defenseman stuff. He's not a defenseman that you're going to see on the point sheet. You're not going to see him putting up. So it's not as quantifiable. You're going to see it in ice time. You're going to see it in his plus minus. You're going to see it in you're going to see it in the actual play because from what I've heard, he's a fairly heavy on the puck defense. He doesn't allow a lot of like space and stuff like that with guys. So he's a fairly aggressive guy. Well, obviously the opposite of what Barry was, who was offensive. But we gave up another prospect with that and a 1st-round draft pick. And like Barry's got a lot of points. Like, and I know we get a lot of points and we can't seem to outscore this bad goaltending. Campbell. Like,
so who's our backup goalie right now?
Skinner. And Skinner's good, but like apparently from what I gather, the reason why they're not playing Skinner constantly is Skinner clearly isn't equipped to handle an NHL load just yet.
Well, neither is this guy, it seems like.
No, this guy, like, from an adequacy level, He's not adequate enough to carry an NHL load. He is actually garbage. Like, you would be a better goaltender than this guy, than Jack
Oilers,
Campbell. But Stuart Skinner, I don't think from like an endurance standpoint, because like if you perceive you're going to make the playoffs, the Oilers are still on the precipice of the playoffs. Because this home and home with Winnipeg, I mean, we won the first one, but again, high scoring. We should be lighting these guys up. We shouldn't be on our heels constantly with the goaltender letting in every fourth shot, every third shot.
He's not distracted at all. He's not like blind in one eye. Maybe he's a depth.
Maybe he is. Like I said, that would make me feel better. I would feel more.
Well,
I would feel less humiliated for him and as an Oilers fan, because at least it would give us an excuse. There would be an out.
I would hope it was something along those lines.
He's the shits, bro. We do this a lot with goaltending. We're not well known for our goaltender scouting free agency prowess.
No, we need to break that trend. That's a whole trend to have. Like,
it's
how do we keep getting year over year? Like,
and that's the thing, is we've moved front office like management around a bunch of different times.
Yeah.
So like we'll see how Ekholm, like I was saying, is going to pan out. But I wonder how long McDavid and Draisaitl just stay sufficiently quiet about being in a city that like clearly can't get the right stuff around them.
Oh, I'm sure there's been talks.
Like, I know they're getting paid, and I know they're guys that don't really have those type of personalities. Like, they're not douchebags, right? Like, they seem like guys that are quite, well, I mean,
they're not douchebags.
Draisaitl, there's a couple of rumors around the city about Draisaitl's personal life, but that's neither here nor there. But as far as on the ice and in their business acumen, they seem to be fairly scrupulous young men.
Seem to be
pretty good. Got no issues with them.
No, not at all.
At what point in time do they start to think like their careers are being squandered? Like, you're not able to get people around these guys who are all world. Connor McDavid leads by 30 points. That's not like an exaggeration.
No.
That's not 30 points in basketball. This is 30 points in hockey. Like, that's
no joke.
That's with still double-digit games remaining.
What's Draisaitl at? He's like right behind 20 behind.
18 off McDavid, something like that, right? Kucherov's like 28 off McDavid or something. So he leads the guy that's on the next team, because obviously we're not counting Draisaitl in that, because we don't care who wins it, whether it's Draisaitl or McDavid. But obviously McDavid's way out in front here. So the Oilers, what happened with the Oilers? Fuck, dude, what always happens?
Shit the bed.
That's what happened.
Shit the bed.
Only team this year is the The Bruins are good, dude. The Bruins are good. The Oilers wouldn't want to see the Bruins in the playoffs.
We should swap goalies with the Bruins.
I don't.
Do you think they'll go for that?
We should swap Bruins. Fuck, man.
Just for a playoff.
The depth on Boston would be spooky, because Boston's got Pasternak and Krejci, and they've got Marchand. And
let's get some of those fellows.
They can do so much more than just what we can do at top level scoring. Like, they're in the corners doing a lot more. Like, we fall off a cliff. Let's face facts. After McDavid and Draisaitl, Zach Hyman.
This is a pretty bleak conversation, ladies and gentlemen. I'm
fucking Oilers, dude. How long you lived in this city? It's been a shit show.
Right.
Somebody asked about it. I'm the Leafs all day, Theo. The Leafs. Leafs are good. Leafs are good. Leafs are good, dude.
Like,
Leafs are deep. Leafs are deep. They've had a lot of times when they've had like one superstar that like gets a lot of national news, but the team isn't really there. But like, the team seems to be there this time. Like, I'm actually kind of surprised they haven't had a couple of deeper playoff pushes. In like all actuality, the Leafs have a really strong dynamic. Like, they're not just like Matt Sundin or Doug Gilmour and Dave Anderchuk.
No,
like
the Leafs.
Wendell Clark. Like, they've got Matthews and Tavares and Marner, and like, they got a fucking grip of dudes there that like can actually like really play hockey. Like, Austin Matthews won MVP last year, right? Like, so like,
didn't he?
These guys are insane.
Yeah, that's some serious stuff, though.
Right.
I wish I could win MVP.
Toronto, I'm almost expecting Toronto to. We should have known when they were getting rid of Jack Campbell. Circling all the way back to the Oilers thing, we should have known that a team that clearly can foster much better talent on an overall scale than the Oilers can in the Leafs. That if they were parting with this goaltender who was so damn good, why would they be doing that? What's the catch? And the catch was, he's actually ass. He is actually quite ass.
Is that like his title? Does ass stand?
That is the title that I'm going to bestow on him. Is ass.
He's the title. You should be gracious. You get that title.
He has been underwhelming to say the absolute least. And he gets paid quite well. Like he's not.
There's no coming back from this guy. Like you think.
Fuck,
like,
dude. We
you don't
do
really
this so frequently. Like there's no coming back because what else can we do? Like I said, we've changed the front office around a couple of times.
Yeah.
Like in the multiple generations that we've been doing this. Like we brought in Rollison,
Right.
we got a half a season and then like a bit of another season out of Rolly before Rolly like wasn't the number one goalie anymore. We had Dubnyk. Dubnyk wasn't good here, then he moved on, was good in Minnesota. Before that with Joseph, like we've had so many guys come through the door here that have been subpar and changed around the front office, and I don't know how you like rectify it. It's almost like a culture thing.
Where do I put my vote in?
You could be the goaltender.
I could be.
You could be the
I could be.
goaltender. You could
But
saddle
where
up
do I put my
today.
vote in
So
for me to be the goaltender?
How
Is
long
there
do you
some sort
think
of-
all world players like McDavid and Draisaitl will say like,
Only a
fuck
couple
it,
of
I'm gonna
years.
chill here. I'm still, dude, right?
Only a couple of years before they're like, this is horrible.
That's what I'm saying to you. Like, I feel like it comes a point in time where these guys
Or just
reach a
fail.
breaking point and they feel like we're being underutilized in our prime. Like,
Right, the
money's
numbers
one
don't
thing,
lie,
but-
my talent.
but everybody's gonna get you the money. Like, you're gonna get that money almost no matter where you go. That
Right, but you want
contract's
to go on
gonna-
a winning team, though. You just want to be the best guy with the good money, but you're playing for a shitty team that I
It's a
started to say
rough, it's a rough gimmick. BigBeaverComics.com.
That's right, go check us
This is
out.
where you should go check us out for this stuff. If
We
you
got
want,
everything
right.
up there: action figures, sports cards, slabs, Rob.
No, that fucking that
Camelot
Spider-Man
Records.
book, the Camelot Records one, that
That's
one's
sweet,
insane,
man.
dude. That
It
thing
is
is
sweet,
nuts.
man. It's
Flyers GM is ruining. Flyers are.
Hey, Flyers.
Flyers just never peaked. They had a really good nucleus for like a long period of time.
Stunted.
The Flyers looked like they were going to be able to really get it over the hump, and then like Provorov and fucking Couturier,
Yeah,
and just
man.
it didn't. They never peaked. It just never.
They all
we've
fall into
peaked.
place.
That's the part that's really
Don't
infuriating.
say that because that
Is it-
that just
but
went
no, but-
downhill
but
from
you-
here.
you can't- Well, no, but I mean, we've got people that you would consider like generational talent.
No, okay.
The Flyers
me
never hit that generational talent. They got a lot of really good nucleus pieces, but they didn't get the Stamkos that's won championships in Tampa,
Yeah.
right? Like the actual like the Sidney Crosbys, the Ovechkins, the superstars that have won championships, that have Olympic medals on their lineage, right? Like that's why we're surprised Austin Matthews doesn't have one.
Very
Tavares,
true.
they're almost
Nope, yeah.
fucking 1A and 1B to be honest with you. So Philly didn't have that same. They didn't hit that guy. That's what's so frustrating about us is that we have Connor McDavid and Draisaitl. They're
We just need to go.
in their absolute prime.
Do you think
I
if
don't
we
know.
just put like a
Maybe Ekholm.
scarecrow
Maybe
in-
Ekholm is the difference maker. Maybe all of a sudden, you
Is
let
he
him.
coming here? Or is he
We got him.
We
He
got him.
played last night.
Oh,
He
okay,
played against
okay.
Winnipeg.
So it's his first game here.
I don't know if last night was or the night before was,
Okay,
but
so his first
the
game.
Winnipeg ones were his first games in there somewhere. But
Well,
like we gave up a lot. Like I said,
We can only go up from here then.
fuck. We've been saying that for 20 years, dog.
Damn, it's been that long.
Giroux was wasted. Look, yeah, man. Giroux, you guys had it with Simmons, and like there was a good team. That was a really, really good team in Philadelphia that had a lot of pieces that really looked like Philadelphia was gonna like. They just needed one guy to really. And Giroux had like a couple seasons. There's a little consolidated period of his career where
Yeah.
Giroux was like a top 10 guy, but it just never got over the hump to where. So yeah, Flyers, man. I'm not entirely sure there. It's been a swing and a miss. That's happened a few times with Philly.
That's gotta hurt too.
It's happened a few times with
gotta
Philly,
hurt.
with the Lindros era, with the Tim Kerr, Brian Propp era, where the Oilers basically smashed through the Flyers. It's happened a few times with the Flyers. Flyers have been really, really like hit that since the Bobby Clark when they really.
Well, they've had it's pretty rocky for the Flyers. Right?
It's well, I mean, Eagles look good in football.
Oh yeah, well,
Eagles look good. If I was the Eagles, I would draft Anthony Richardson still. I wouldn't care if Anthony Richardson. Where do the Eagles draft? They draft 10th, I think. I think they draft 10th because they got somebody's draft pick. Fucking New Orleans or somebody's from
you know who
last
would be
year.
a good goaltender? You get somebody from the NFL, like a linebacker. And we
Okay.
can switch our goalie for him. Whatever team doesn't really matter. He'd probably be better than what we have in
A
net.
linebacker.
Right, because he's huge. He covers a lot of surface area, right?
Probably. We could probably just get like a big dog or something. Like,
That would be better, huh?
right. The big dog would be fun. Like you could market that.
This is an embarrassing conversation to have. This is our Oilers team. Like,
Yeah, the Oilers are, well, this is pretty par for the course, unfortunately. Anybody that watches the Oilers kind of knows.
What do you think the managers must feel like?
10 from the Saints, then 10 from the Saints. That's what I was thinking. They should draft Anthony Richardson. I don't care. I watched this combine yesterday after we were done here. I watched Anthony Richardson do this combine. Biggest broad jump for any quarterback that's ever done the combine.
Really?
Like a 4.43 40. Like outran like CeeDee Lamb and stuff like that at the combine. Like just
He's got a rocket for feet.
Dude. And this is a quarterback. And like when they showed him do his passing, his highest vertical jump of any quarterback of all time, they showed him do his passing drills. And like I watched Stroud, I watched CJ Stroud, I watched Bryce Young, I watched everybody that was doing I watched Will Levis, I watched all of them. Anthony Richardson looked so on point, dog. If he didn't jump up the most in this combine over the last couple of days, as far as like where his draft, like actual prospectus is going to be, I saw teams taking him like 8 or 7 or 6. Like he's going to go like top 3 now. There's no way you could have a comp. Like it was a ridiculous.
That's a huge increase.
He was sharp, bro.
Damn.
If I was the Bills, I would trade Josh Allen.
Dude,
you let me jump up to 3 and take Anthony Richardson and give me your first next year, and you can have Josh Allen. I would let Josh Allen fucking walk something.
Check you later, Josh. How did we get a say in this?
No, we don't, and that's probably a good thing because we probably don't know what we're talking about. So it's probably good that we don't. But Anthony Richardson looked just remarkable, dude. Like. It was TJ Watt plays hockey. Get him in net, says Mason Mel, right?
There we go.
TJ Watt in net.
You get a hold of him, Mason Mel, and
right.
We'll
tell him he's under arrest. Tell him we need him to show
you
up.
have jurisdiction over there.
You've got some jurisdiction,
Do
right?
That up.
Swing the big dick. Let him know what the score is. Be like, we're going to need you to come to the station.
Right, have it hanging though. Your handcuffs hanging off your dong.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think he does that. That's natural, right? Isn't that how you're supposed to?
I'm pretty sure that's how they read.
That's right. That's how you That's how you read your Miranda rights. So yeah, I would say Anthony Richardson is about the best prospect that I've seen in a long time. Where I've stopped. Like I've watched the combine. I watch combine every year. Yeah. Like I like professional football.
You're watching it today.
Right, we were watching a little bit of the highlights today. We didn't see any Anthony Richardson stuff. We were watching a little bit of receivers and tight ends and stuff.
Yeah.
But right, because you were having...
Well, what we were watching was like snippet together. It was a lot of cuts, so a lot of these phrases that they were saying was taken out of context.
And you weren't watching the video.
No, I was just listening to it.
So we were listening to it in a room just to hear what the commentary was. And it
was comical.
A lot of it, you could, if you had a dirty 12-year-old's mind, which I'm not saying Anthony does, but Anthony might.
It drifts there because it's pretty funny.
It was...
Because like I said, taken out of context.
It was a comedic situation, as it always is. So yeah, Richardson, I would take. I've never been so impressed. I've watched all the combines. I watched pro football.
Quite impressed by him, huh?
It was unbelievable, dude. This guy looks so NFL ready. Like his polish was just on point. And then you look at the logistics of it all, the running, the jumping, the broad jump, all that. It's like if he has no real injury issues, he looks so athletically put together and ready to go. Like I very rarely at the NFL Combine, and the Bills a lot of times up until the last couple of years draft high. So I'm taking a look at guys in the top 10. Yeah. I'm watching guys practice and do the combine and do tryouts and all this kind of stuff. I'm watching college games, especially bowl games, looking at this kind of stuff, seeing what's going on. This guy looked like Lamar Jackson already. Like his stuff was just so on point. It was... I was so impressed. Like, I can't imagine that other teams that were thinking about taking a quarterback first in the first top 3, top 4 that didn't have Richardson in their discussions now. It's a whole different ball game. You're sitting down on Monday having a GM meeting with your coaches and saying you're not able to even have the same discussion you thought going into the combine because
everything changed. But that performance, everything has to change.
He broke 2 records. Two out of the 3 things you could break the record of, and the other one he set a really, really high number.
Right. No. That changes the whole ball game. Like
And
the
his passing-
discussion has changed 100%.
And his passing game looked the most structured. Like every route he ran was just one after another sharp, dude. Like it was so impressive.
That is pretty impressive.
I would trade Josh Allen. Sorry,
bro,
Josh
2
Allen.
records,
I'm sorry,
huh?
Josh Allen.
What was his overall pick, you said?
I mean, people were saying that like he was going to go maybe 6, 7, 8.
6 or 7, 8.
But like it's probably going to end up being where he might be the second quarterback off the board. Because like everybody says Bryce Young. I don't know. I think actually Stroud looks like a better quarterback. But again, sometimes in just shorts, when you're watching guys just do it in gym shorts, it's not the same.
No, not
Because they're not having
and
they're not having guys breathing down their neck, and they don't have the pressure of the stadium, and they don't have. There's all these cogs that are moving when you're actually in the heat of battle, and you know national TV cameras are watching you, and you're
Right.
It's a little different when you're just kind of going through the motions, and you
Right,
feel
this is
fairly.
a practice. It's nothing, anything.
So you don't know how guys are, but Stroud's had a ridiculous college career. It's not like Stroud's. So I don't know. We'll see. But those 3 quarterbacks, I would not be surprised if every team that wanted a quarterback is looking to trade up now. If the Bears are completely off the board, like if the Bears are saying, we talked about this yesterday, if the Bears are saying Justin Fields is our guy and we're completely out of the quarterback racket, we will happily trade you this first overall draft pick.
Yeah.
There are teams that are looking at this going like, it depends on which one of those 3 you're in love with, because you'd probably take any of the 3, number 2 or number 1.
Yeah, you would.
Right. You would not have a problem with it. So like the Bears gonna probably trade out of that position. I would think if they're good with Fields.
What do quarterbacks usually start after like starting wage? I guess it's all dependent.
There's a rookie scale, and like
There.
depending on where you're picked, it used to get a little obscene where rookies were paid like ridiculous amounts of money. So like now there's like a rookie scale. It's more your second contract that's your big hitter contract
re-signing,
in the NFL. Yeah.
Because you can crap out. It's just you're hot. You get that big
right. Because like
payday.
teams were having to allocate. I think Luck
then you
was
just
maybe
dry
the
off.
last guy that got like a really big one coming out as like a rookie where he got like paid like already NFL starter money in like year 1 or whatever. It's right. But it really handicaps a team because like guys can play hardball by deciding, like they want more money, they're going to hold on. It's like, no, now if it's on a fixed scale,
Gotcha.
it's like this pick this year is allocated to this amount of money as the top ends. Like it can't go above that anyway, so you can't have guys asking for money that maybe they deserve, but maybe they don't. And if you don't, and you handicap a team, it's a lot worse than if you played well, earned a contract, and then shit the bed. Because at least you earned that deal, and then you shit the bed. Like it's not like the original stats didn't get you that second contract, but just hype coming out of college getting you the first contract seems a little egregious.
I agree.
You're already on the top end of the scale, coming out 1, 2, 3, 4, like way higher than the guys who drafted fucking 100th overall.
Yeah.
Right. So like but Richardson's gonna go high. Bryce Young gonna go high.
Yeah.
NFL Combine looked good.
From what I've seen, what I watched,
it was good. Right. The Bills have nothing that they need to worry themselves with because they're not going to be. We are losing a couple of guys, and we don't seem like we're getting
losing
Stephon
anybody
Diggs.
like substantial.
I mean, we're losing a linebacker. I mean, we're probably going to lose one of these cornerbacks. I would say some injuries have really crept on us after we signed some guys in the last round of signing we did 2-3 years ago for some bigger contracts, right? Like where we re-signed a few of the guys that were coming at the end of their rookie deals.
Just got hurt.
Guys have picked up some injuries and they don't play full season. And we do a good job of cycling in and out talent.
It's all about gambling.
But Josh Allen's not the most reliable quarterback in the world.
Says who?
Says me and the results. And his touchdown to
statistics,
interception
surveys,
ratio. And,
Video.
right, the video evidence. Right. So there's a few things.
I swear it's all doctored, right? It's all what is it? Simulation. It's not real.
I wish it was.
Fake news.
You know how hard it is being a Buffalo Bills fan? There's a reason we just don't talk about the Bills. It's just easier. Like we've talked about the Oilers here.
Why open?
And they're a little bit why open that
wound?
can of worms?
It's a bad wound.
It hurts, right? Like there's a lot of missed opportunity and right.
Yeah.
A lot of hard-ons that led to nothing.
A lot of hard-ons that led to nothing. Isn't that horrible?
That's a terrible affliction to be stricken with.
That is
And
horrible. I don't wanna ever have
I've
that.
been stricken with that as an Oilers fan and as a Bills fan. Luckily, the San Francisco Giants and the Los Angeles Lakers have
How do we
come
get somebody
through.
out of the contract, like a goalie, per se? Like hypothetically,
Oiler-wise, well, we just signed Campbell
legally
this
and
offseason.
illegally.
Illegally. Well, we
Yeah.
could always, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I don't want to give up the tools of the trade here on the live stream.
Like, is there like any way?
That seems like it would be silly on my part.
Is there any way to like facilitate a bribe? Like,
I think they're gonna know. Like,
Mason Mel, you let us know. You know all about this.
we're a bad. What is this new Superman thing you posted here?
Oh yeah, they found the new Superman.
New Superman.
Yeah, the new Superman. You actually have to watch it if
Could
you
he
want.
be our goalie?
He might be. Do you think he'd be able to be?
Like, is this the new Superman? Like, instead of Cavill?
Yeah.
Really? No. Oh, okay.
He posted. He's like,
That
"I'm
is
the new
funny.
Superman."
That's funny.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
Jack Black.
Yeah, Jack Black.
That is funny. Like, I like Jack Black. He's
Yeah,
good.
he's pretty funny.
Yeah,
That guy's
he's
funny.
good. Yeah, he doesn't mind making himself the butt of the joke or whatever.
No, look at him.
He seems to have a
he's
pretty
huge,
good
running around,
sense
right?
of humor.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Jack Black.
I don't think
is
he's going to be the new Superman. I'm pretty sure we're up shit creek with that.
really.
Pretty sure everybody's.
Has Jack Black even been in like a serious role? I think it's about time
yeah.
for him to be in like a serious role,
I'm
like,
pretty sure
like
Jack
a
Black.
gladiator, Russell Crowe type.
Oh, I don't know if he's really
I
right.
think that's what I mean. Because he's been in like the Jackal.
You
Wasn't he in
think
the
he's
Jackal?
equipped for that? You think that's kind of a Jack Black wheelhouse?
I think he has.
Or
I
Jack
think
is
he
gonna
has the
really-
range for it.
You think he has the range for
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Just give him some, some downers, and he won't be always hyper and excited.
I don't
He can play
foresee
real well.
Jack Black.
Let's get
really being-
method. He has to get real method. With it.
Doesn't really have a stature to him. Like, he's kind of like a dumpy
Hey,
sort of.
don't say,
Is that a bad?
Danny DeVito has
Can
a
I
wide
get
range.
canceled? Right.
He played very
He's
bad.
a sort of a dumpy guy, right? It's not really.
He's a very
Not
dumpy
very
type of guy. Yeah.
imposing. So, like, I don't really feel like Jack Black really has. I'm gonna have to contradict what you're saying here
You don't think he has the,
wholeheartedly.
you don't think he has the range to play a bad guy?
I don't think you have even the range to be explaining this from like what you've showed me so far with this analogy of Jack Black, like being, because like he is not capable of that whatsoever. Like he is he is a
If
moderate
they can make
comedic
Paul
actor.
Giamatti a bad guy,
Moderate comedic actor.
or what was that? What was the other guy that?
Paul Giamatti, was he a bad
He
guy?
played a bad guy. A few things.
Really?
Yeah.
Like an actual like
so is Philip
bad-
Seymour Hoffman.
bad
They can
guy.
make that guy a bad guy.
bad guy with like physicality, like where guys like there's fisticuffs.
There's a lot of physical.
Really, the Paul Giamatti movie? Well, what are you talking about? That he was a bad guy? And Philip Seymour Hoffman,
Yeah, Philip Seymour Hoffman played the bad guy in third.
bad guy,
Mission
like
Impossible.
cerebral bad guy, like a thinking man's bad guy, like that type of bad guy,
Yeah.
or like
He can play
bad
the
guy, like
professor type of guy. I
like
think.
punched out James Bond bad guy.
No, he's not playing Punch
Right,
like James Bond.
right.
He can play more like
Right.
the Riddler type of style.
So
bad
Jack
guy.
Black is not going to be in Gladiator.
He can play the Fat King, Fat Bearded King.
Right.
right.
Touche.
He can play
Okay.
that.
Okay.
The tyrannical Jack Black. and
I will secede
whatever people
my
do on that
onslaught
cover.
and say that's probably correct, and that if you would have clarified that earlier,
I
and not
should've.
insinuated
That
you
is my
meant
bad, ladies
the
and gentlemen.
Gladiator actual character.
Right? No, I don't see him ripped as like a 300. Like,
I'd sure
I
like
think
to. He'd be attractive.
I don't think so.
You don't think he cleans up well?
No.
Take that, Jack
I don't.
Black.
I don't think he would.
Don't even think he'd
He's
clean
a little
up well.
weird. No.
Really?
No. It's like Zach Galifianakis. He got real skinny. Then
Did he get skinny?
Yeah.
Well, that's probably healthy
He's not
for
funny
him.
anymore. I don't think so.
Not funny though.
No, you know what it is? He comes across as an asshole without, because he's not fat and jolly anymore.
Most fat people aren't really that jolly.
He seemed very jolly when he was fat.
They're kind of miserable. I don't really know a lot of like fat, jolly people. I know a lot of
Chris
fat,
Farley
like,
was
gassy
jolly.
people.
Chris Farley was pretty jolly. I don't know.
Are they
personal
acting
life.
jolly? Because he was not doing like things that would like make you think
Okay,
like,
well,
gosh, he's living a jolly life. Like speedballs don't really like tell me like, fuck, this guy's having a blast. Like,
well, he was having a blast.
he
wasn't
was blasting off for real, but like not in the way that we're thinking.
So you think he would have the range, though? I think he'd have the range.
Who? Jack Black
Yeah.
as maybe the king. Sure,
Right.
sure, okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure he's done serious stuff like that.
I don't know.
Why are you pitching Jack Black so hard?
Well, because we were talking about him as playing Superman.
Fuck, dude. No, we are not.
No,
Not anymore. We're not.
You don't think he'd pull it off?
So they don't have a real Superman yet for Cavill's job.
No.
Basically, Cavill's job in my head.
Yeah. Well, maybe if Netflix does end up buying, or there's rumors that they did buy the rights to like the Justice League 2 to make the movie.
Do
but who knows?
they just bail on it and just say like fuck it? Like they want it too much. They want Cavill too much.
Yeah, you know.
Do you think
who
they
knows?
cross that bridge at some point? It's like I think the fans would happily accept it if they were just like, you know what, we rethought it.
You know what?
We think Cavill might be the one. What?
I think you're right. Cavill might be the run. Just like Michael Keaton played Batman 30 plus years ago, and still like in the Flash trailer, he's like I'm Batman. It was just like, damn, Michael Keaton is Batman.
Michael Keaton is Batman. Didn't you say they were doing a Michael Keaton Batmobile and the McFarlane stuff?
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can post a picture in the chat here.
You were saying that it fits like 6-inch figures.
Apparently.
But those McFarlane DC Universe figures are not 6-inch figures. They're like 7.5. Those things are big. We've had a ton of those things.
So all they've done right now is they've just posted this picture. I'm gonna post in the chat here once I copy this. So, but it looks pretty sweet, and there has been some modifications have been done to the vehicle itself. Can I post this?
So it's the 89 one? Is that what it is?
It is the 89.
It's modeled after the 89 one?
Yeah, I posted something here, but did it show a picture? No, it's in like a, what is that?
I don't know.
No, it wouldn't let me post it.
No, not letting you post it?
Not letting me post it. But you can go to Toy Ark.
It's the no dice.
That will be all from the Flash movie.
My man got no dice.
No dice. I was looking for that in the chat if I post a picture, and it wouldn't in the settings.
Oh, really?
But,
it's cool, though. Like, the idea of the Batmobile
really
is right. I just don't know how they're going to fit a lot of the characters inside them. I guess only Batman's meant to fit.
It's a two-seater. And
it's not, is it a two-seater? And like, Robin's a slender lad. And like Batman with the big mecha armor, some of the Batmans, those ones aren't going to fit in there anyways.
No.
But they're not meant to. So like, it's only going to be Batman, I guess, in the bat suit, which is not, I don't know if it's a 6-inch figure. It seems a little off scale-wise still.
I think it's...
I like those McFarlane figures, dude. Those McFarlane figures are
they made
gnarly.
like the Bat bikes, and they had already another Batmobile that already came out previous to this one.
Was that one the same thing? Same scale, 6-inch? I
couldn't tell you.
Because that's what got me, was not that they're making the Batmobile, but that they were doing it as 6-inch. It seemed like they were...
Right, that's going to be massive.
Missing the...
Why wouldn't they do it?
That's cool, dude. That's cool.
They do it?
They've done so much.
Unless they do it like a Build-A-Figure kind of thing. It's like, I don't know. They did that with a bike. Build a figure. And a horse, they did it.
They did a Build-A-Figure with a bike?
Yeah.
The McFarlane stuff did?
McFarlane stuff. And they did one with a Batman on a horse.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I think we've seen the Batman on a horse one. Right. I didn't see a bike one. Yeah, McFarlane does a lot of good stuff. McFarlane doesn't do no slacking, eh? Like, his stuff is always just on point. Working on the Ravens here.
How's the Ravens doing this year besides Lamar Jackson? Do you think he's leaving? Did I hear something?
No, I'm just trying to get the mouse from you.
I'm stealing the mouse.
Opening things up, right?
Did you see the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles teaser that was released? They had this Nickelodeon thing. It was only like 28 seconds.
No.
I don't know if it's going to be good. Seth Rogen's doing it. It's called Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. But the design is kind of like a little bit like the original design of the cartoons, but done like 3D.
So like the original, like the cartoon from like 89 or whatever it is?
Yeah, 88 when it came out.
88, is that what it is?
It's kind of similar to that, but it's very...
It's a cool style.
Very like a cell-shaded cartoon.
It's a cool style. It's a cool style.
It could be good. I'm not.
I mean, Ninja Turtles are always worth giving a try to.
I think they need another live-action movie, but not with like CGI turtles. I think they need to go back to the prosthetic suits. I think that would be really dope.
That's the first one, right? For sure, they had
the first three.
Yeah,
so then they had another
Turtles in Time up to that one.
We'll do Turtles in Time again. Learn from that.
What was but wasn't that the prosthetic suit though?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I mean though. Up to that one, from the first one up to that one. Because what's the second one? Secret of the Ooze.
Secret of the Ooze. Right. Which is, you know what was dumb about that one? Because the first one, they use their weapons in it. I don't know if you ever noticed this, but in the second one, they never use their weapons. Leonardo never uses his sword. Michelangelo doesn't use his nunchucks. Because parents thought using their weapons were too violent. So they
Well,
actually,
I mean, there are ninjas,
so they actually like never use,
and they live in like a world that's not our world, like where the mutant turtles are accepted into society as heroes. Like it's not our world.
Oh,
Like explain to your children that like
right,
things are make believe sometimes. Not everything is.
It's real. Yeah, it's not real.
Right,
It's not a
it's-
documentary. And
You know what? You can start swinging swords around at your brother when we've seen large anthropomorphic turtles
right,
swinging swords around. Then like okay,
then
like
it's acceptable to do.
otherwise like I don't know. You should parent your kids and probably put the turtles with
should.
their weapons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, but like this is a cartoon though. You're saying this is a live action, but you want live action.
I want live action. I don't know why they
I
don't
don't
go
know.
back to that. I think
Movie
it's just,
industry seems like it's kind of dying a death. Live
yeah, Hollywood. I think is long dead. I don't think they might be able to bring it back, but who
I
knows?
saw that
I-
Babylon movie that
Oh yeah,
it did
no,
so terribly. Like one
it
of
did
them
horrible.
was nominated for a bunch of
Horrible.
awards. I mean, I think Brad Pitt is a really good actor, so I'm not entirely sure it's an actual horrible film as much as it's probably was just received horribly.
You know what looks like a good film that's coming out here? We were talking about how we were talking about like dinosaurs and like woolly mammoths. It's called 65. It's with Adam
65.
Driver, the guy who played Kylo Ren.
Okay,
And it takes place 65 million years ago. This is like how humans got to the planet Earth.
right on.
And this guy, the guy crashes, the ship crashes to Earth. And they're walking around the jungle, everything seems safe, and then all of a sudden, god damn, a big giant T-Rex comes out and starts like breaking shit, going on like a whole like killing spree.
Son of
They're
a
trying to figure
bitch.
out, yeah, it looks really good.
This
There's a bunch of
is
trailers out.
Kylo Ren, like the kind of whiny faced guy with the black hair.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I'm not-
He doesn't seem whiny faced though. No,
Well, he's just not great as the guy Kylo Ren without the mask on. Like,
I think he played a pretty good soldier because
Kylo
he was
Ren
in the
was-
Marines for a while.
oh, really?
Yeah.
Kylo Ren was a good character for the first half of the first. What is it? Force Awakens.
Right.
That
No,
was
it's like
called-
a good date. You know, it's good to see the face.
Right. Yeah. Until they turn the lights on.
Exactly.
They went when they. But okay, I'll give him a chance as a different type
It
of
look, no,
character.
it looks really good. He's done
Really?
actually a couple decent movies. The
He
Dead
seems like
Don't
a guy who
Die.
would be like a decent actor.
Yeah, The Dead Don't Die with Bill Murray.
The
The
dead don't die.
zombie movie. That was pretty good.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so this guy's not just like doing just the Star Wars stuff.
No, he's not. He's done.
This
a few
guy.
other
This
good
guy's doing
movies.
some other stuff.
Yeah, yeah. He actually wants people to forget that he ever was ever in the Star Wars.
I watch sports. I'm not really great.
No,
with
that's
the,
my kind of jam. I watch the
Right.
movies and the nonsense
keep
stuff.
knocking it there.
Do I? My apologies, sir. But they have a new Arnie movie coming out on Netflix. It's called Fubar. It looks pretty decent. It's just a teaser trailer. It has like Arnie walking, blowing shit up, in like a suit.
Isn't that how we like Arnie though? Is to just
Oh,
be kind of walking, like
absolutely.
taking it easy. His hips are old. Like we don't need Arnie hurting himself, and blowing shit up.
I get back to the old blowing shit up.
Indiscriminately blowing things up is always good for a laugh.
Right.
It's
Absolutely.
good bond building time with your friends and your sons.
You need more movies like
We need
Expendables.
more. Right. It doesn't even need to be that graphic. It just needs
No,
to
it
have.
needs to be that graphic.
Well, I don't
It
necessarily.
doesn't have to be
think
as
so.
graphic as Rambo, the fourth Rambo movie, where he's like gutting people with knives and like chopping off their limbs.
Well, no,
and stuff.
that feels like a little much.
Right.
But like,
But like explosions, excessive explosions,
I
and
mean,
people jumping, and
it doesn't feel like a
around.
little much in the sense that I don't think that that's like a fine type of movie, or that I wouldn't watch those types of movies. It's just that
More of a acquired taste.
it's right. It's not. It's knocking you out of the mainstream. And when we're saying there should be more, like I'm talking like Predator level of
Yes.
violence,
Yes.
Running Man level of violence,
Yes.
right? Like
Absolutely.
movies that really have still real mainstream appeal.
Mm-hmm.
They touch on what are like real interesting topics at the time. Like the Running Man has like a really dystopian, interesting view on the world's future and
Blade Runner.
where
yeah,
things
well.
go. Right, Blade Runner's not super violent though, even right?
No, that's very true. Not
Like
as violent
that's a pretty chill movie. Like that is
laid back compared to like Blade Runner or Rambo.
right. I think we still get a lot of movies like Blade Runner. I don't feel like we get a lot of movies like The Running Man or like Predator. Or,
No,
I feel like
not,
we
not in the
kinda-
sense of like that.
but
Like,
those
they had
ones
the
do,
Hunger
those
Games.
ones do quite well.
I never really watched the Hunger Games. That was, I think, like a Running Man scenario type of thing.
Running Man scenario.
Yeah, but
Right.
it's not as good as Running Man. But Speaking about like,
Ooh, but Arnie doing ones where you're saying like Arnie just comes and just walks and blows shit up. Like that's
great.
that seems like exactly what film is made for, is to just entertain, whisk me away into one guy being strong enough to take down an entire terrorist cell on his own and shoot his way through like some jungle encampment where he's just, guys are falling off bamboo balconies and all sorts of good shit's going on. And he saves the girl and saves the kid and like rides out in a helicopter.
Arnie needs to make a John Wick movie, like a John Wick style movie where he just
John Wicks are good. They're a little dark. They're just a little dark.
Now they have a new John Wick coming out, and he has one of my favorite stars from the East.
Like, I'm not saying I don't like him. I like John.
John Wick's really good. Actually, I have a question here, since we're going to talk about John Wick here.
Wait. BigBeaverComics.com is where you should go for comic books,
sports cars, action,
right? All sorts of stuff. Anyways,
since we're talking about John Wick, who do you think would win in a hand-to-hand combat fight? Frank Castle, the Punisher, or John Wick?
Wow. Well, those are kind of different universes. Like, you got to think that. Well, I mean, I don't know. I guess John Wick is as impervious to bullets as Frank Castle kind of is, right? Like, Wick's been shot at 100 million times.
In the first one, he had like a bulletproof suit on.
Right. So I guess maybe it's not really as far-fetched, like, as of a divergence between the two as I was thinking. Like, okay. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you, because I can't think of any real noticeable or notable Punisher L's that, like, the Punisher put up where, like, he just got absolutely fucking mollywopped by people, because they're smart enough where they keep the Punisher written inside of
safe, like Nick Fury, or not like Nick Fury, but
he's written inside of the proper like cityscapes and stuff. So he's not fighting Galactus, where it's pretty improbable to expect him to be able to accomplish anything.
Right, unless
you don't put the Punisher there, but you put him fighting other vigilantes and other kind of like ground troop guys, and like the scale of like mutants and magic do vary slightly, even though his don't.
Right, he's fighting Jigsaw.
But he seems to be able to evade quite a bit of malarkey. Malarkey that a normal human would not be able to like circumvent so easily.
No, not at all.
So, fuck, I don't know. Punisher doesn't have any notable L's. We can't just say like just because John Wick's had some better movies that Punisher's not the better. Because Punisher's been around a long time and written into a lot of story arcs and has no real notable L's where you're like, oh, remember that time where like over the course of this like book series or whatever where like Homeboy just smashed Punisher? Like, there isn't really a lot of that. Like, he goes through a lot of back and forth.
He does. No, he does.
Like, he there's a lot of trial and tribulation. It's not an easy road ever for Frank Castle, because I think he's so limited by the fact that he is human. So they still give him some limitations in the sense that, you know, like it's a constant, you know, like pushing uphill with a fucking never-ending kind of a scope on things, as opposed to like a Thor or Superman who can like really put a capper. They can throw you out into space.
Keanu would probably play a good Punisher.
So I don't know who. Keanu might play a good Punisher, actually.
I think he could play.
He probably could.
He seems a little mopey. Like, because like his family was murdered. Keanu's a little mopey, so I think.
Right, Punisher's a little snappy. He doesn't really like being questioned about a lot of things.
No, he does not.
But because he's mopey, he's like really reactionary.
Right, happy.
But he's a good, steady shot.
Oh, never.
Like, he doesn't fucking shit the bed and just like I said, there's no real notable Punisher L's, man. Punisher's a bit of a ass kicker.
I never really thought of it that way.
He's an ass kicker. Like, he's gone up against some of the baddest of the bad in the Marvel universe and doesn't really take any type of noticeable beatings where you're like, oh yeah, Punisher was like the real liability in that team. It's like, nah, man. Like, when they put Punisher in like a team or in like a group or in a story arc, it's like a thing. It's like a thing. Punisher's like the guy.
Right. Cosmic Ghost
so like
Rider.
for a dude with no real superpowers, like who else? Him, Daredevil. And we don't know if
Hawkeye.
we don't know, right? Hawkeye, but Hawkeye, I don't know if is on the same level as a Punisher or a Daredevil.
I don't know who's going to.
I don't think we would say Moon Knight necessarily has no powers, because we're not sure that Khonshu and all that stuff isn't real. We don't know
That's
if he's.
right.
You can never tell how Moon Knight's written. He's either in a psychiatric issue where it's a lot of delusions and psychosis, and him having schizophrenia and dealing with all sort of mental health stuff and projecting a lot of things.
Yeah.
Or if that's, but because we're not sure. But we know with Frank Castle, there's a little bit of malarkey. Again, there has to be.
Yeah, of course.
Because there's guys out there in the world that shoot things of energy pulses and right. So there needs to be a bit of malarkey. But it's not overblown.
No. So which one do you think? You think Punisher?
I know more about Punisher than John Wick. So I'm going to just go with Punisher because it seems like the thing that I would at least have the body of work on. And I can't think of Punisher getting smoked. So like whatever the variance might be in being right or wrong, 2-3%, like I'll take that variance and say Punisher's probably the guy.
Well, I'm jumping fence. I'm going on to the John Wick side.
Yeah.
John Wick, I like the movies. I like Keanu. He's Canadian, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt just because of that. I think John Wick. Plus, I like the thing. He killed 3 guys with a fucking pencil.
Did he really?
Yeah, in the movie.
I've seen at least the first one. I know it's excellent. Like people love it. So
he talks to his son. His son kills his dog and steals his car.
Very impossible to deny that like it's so loved by fans in a day and age when people are so happy to be contentious about things.
Yeah.
It's pretty universally loved in the sense that you can tell like it's good. It's good. Clearly good.
Because it's straight non-stop, just testosterone-fueled action. And that's what makes it so good.
Speaking of a John, full of testosterone. Maybe not. Let's hope that's not what happened with John. But what did we say yesterday? John Bones Jones.
Minute 20
John Bones Jones. In no time at all, Cyril Gane didn't have a chance, bro. The UFC performed. Rachmanov looked great. Duplessis looked great. Like all the guys that are coming up that they want. Bo Nickel looked great. Like all the guys they want to be good looked amazing. Like, and John Bones Jones, as much as Cyril Gane, they probably were happy to hitch their wagon to him if that's what it would have came down to. Like, Gane looks phenomenal. Gane is a great fighter. Like, there's no, but what did we say? Yes, what did I say yesterday? What did Drake say? What did Drake say yesterday when Drake made the gamble?
A knockout.
Drake got the $1.7 million payout.
So close to the tap knock, though. So close.
No, that's what it was a tap out. That was 1.7.
No, the tap knock.
Oh, right. Fuck. Right. So yeah, no, that was amazing. John Jones looked like he hadn't missed a beat. Looked like Cyril Gane was in a different class of fighter entirely from John. Like
I thought it was going to be a stand-up bout, but no.
I think a lot of people thought it was going to be a bit of a firefight. Like there was going to be a lot of back and forth. Like Gane wasn't just going to get exposed. Just
because he had to pinch up against the fence in that
John is just such a tank, bro. Like we forget how much bigger he was at light heavyweight than everybody else. Like sometimes 10, 11 inch reach advantage on guys, like considerably bigger than everybody else and dominant, like dominant.
That's crazy.
He put on this weight over 3 years. It's not like he put this weight on overnight. He didn't just like balloon up and put on a bunch of weight. Like he was always known as a guy in the gym doing like heavy lifting, doing power lifting all the time. So he's always been one of the stronger guys. And then like he's put on this weight slowly. He did it the right way. We don't want him to be testosterone filled, but we just want him to be testosterone good.
PED friendly.
PED friendly.
They should allow that.
I don't know if John was all yaoed up like, because he won in dominant fashion. Like good yaoed up John sometimes. So I'm not sure. He seemed chill at the press conference. He won fucking one of the
fired up.
He won one of the bonuses of the night.
Did he?
He won. I don't know if it was what performance of the night it was. I'm not entirely sure if they even have like the different ones, or they just call them performance of the nights now. But yeah, he won one of the 50 grands. He was saying he was donating. He seemed like he was in really good spirits, but like I would have
for him, man.
And like Dana was talking about saying like get John back to Albuquerque
ASAP,
as quick as possible, right? Like don't let John linger in. I don't know where they were, Vegas. Don't let John linger in Vegas, right? So I like John. I hope John gets his life together and like doesn't have these bullshit issues in the future and continues to. He's only 35 or whatever. So, like, it's not like John isn't very, very capable still of putting up another 5 years as a dog. I mean, he really, so he called out He called out Ngannou really good. Like, he really got in Ngannou's ass because he said Ngannou was like the most muscular pussy he'd ever seen. Like, and he went out of his way to say it. This was after like a 10-minute diatribe about like how he's kind of changed and how like he's a religious guy and this, that, the other. And then like as soon as something, even like, I'm not even sure if somebody mentioned it, but like something gave him the Ngannou ick. And he immediately responded in kind by bringing up exactly what he thought of Francis Ngannou, which wasn't anything nice. It was a lot of really negative stuff. So, but then right after that...
It wasn't like the reverse, like, oh, that's so bad.
Well, he said, like, he's a pussy, right? Biggest pussy with muscles he's ever seen. So, like, not being friendly. No, obviously they're not on speaking terms, it sounds like, which is unfortunate.
That is unfortunate.
But that fight isn't really on the table anyways. No. Because that's not what's going on, right? Like, we're not expecting to see Francis Ngannou and John Jones fight anymore. What we're expecting to see is John Jones fight Stipe Miocic and Francis Ngannou go into boxing, and that's exactly what it sounds like it's going to happen. Because right after he was done telling Francis can go fucking fuck himself.
Have his little rant.
Right, and we went out of his way, dude. He went out of his fucking way.
Like, it was like a personal attack.
Angry for one. I think he wanted to beat him. I think he just wanted to beat him. Like, he really wants to beat guys that are thought of as kind of better than him.
He never fought him, did he?
No, and he never really had a lot of competition in light heavyweight for a long time. As much as people think that, like, the guys he fought in the last couple of years, Santos or whatever his name was, fucking... What was the other buddy, Reyes and stuff? Like, yeah, fucking John didn't care. John hasn't cared in so long, like, because he's just been tanking through that division for a decade. So, like, he didn't see these guys as viable. He saw them as, like, guys on 4-fight winning streaks that, like, I haven't beat yet. That's who this guy is.
These are just guys.
It's not right.
Obstacles, boom, boom, boom.
But Ngannou has, like, an air of, like, mystique to him. He's probably going to go and fight Tyson Fury. But John called out Miocic because...
He's going to fight... How heavy is he?
Ngannou?
Yeah.
He's in the heavyweight, so 265, 260.
He's really that big?
Ngannou's huge. Francis Ngannou's massive. He's bigger than Gon. Gon was huge. Look at how big Gon was yesterday. Francis Ngannou is considerably bigger than that.
Really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Huh.
But, like, so he's going to go fight. He might not have the actual acumen, the boxing acumen or the reach to beat Tyson Fury, because I think we've seen Fury pick apart guys that are quite a bit longer than Ngannou is, because I don't think Ngannou really, well, he probably does. I mean, I'm not going to say he doesn't realize, but he may not realize just how large Tyson Fury actually is, because Tyson Fury is a fucking monster. He's a bigger... That's when we talk about how big John Jones is. He's a next level size from John Jones.
He's like 275, isn't he?
And like fucking 7 feet tall. Like, that's
right.
Just,
he's a monster.
He's an absolute ghoulie. You don't want to just be in there.
But he seems like a nice guy.
He seems like a funny dude, man.
Yeah. No, he definitely does. He seems like a genuinely nice guy.
I like Tyson Fury. He's got that gypsy mentality. He's a funny dude, but Ngannou's going to go and he's going to find out, I guess. I mean, like, I don't know. I would imagine that I heard yesterday that Scott Coker from Bellator told Ngannou that he was willing to do something, because they're CBS or some shit, Bellator. We looked this up.
Fox?
No, it's not Fox.
No, we
Paramount?
Yeah, it was Paramount.
Paramount, yeah. Right, so they also own Showtime Boxing or something, so it was going to be they talked about doing like a split deal, where he didn't just get an MMA contract through Bellator, but he got a boxing contract through Showtime. So it was allowed to do both, because that's the real conflict he said there was with the UFC, was that the UFC wasn't going to allow him to go ahead and do a boxing match if he wanted to, but he's under exclusive contract to the UFC. And we talked about this before, why the UFC doesn't just promote fucking boxing. Right. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Just promote the fucking boxing. Like, you have guys that want to box, obviously. You think you could make more money with it. Like,
well, it's probably a lot easier to promote a boxing match than an MMA fight.
I mean, guys get paid a lot. Right? I don't know what...
Stress is probably different.
I don't know what backroom deals Dana has with guys, where Dana doesn't want to step on a lot of boxing promoters' toes or whatever it is, but, like... they could just do boxing. Like, I don't know why they lost in Ngannou over this, but it really seemed like Dana had a personal issue with Francis. Like, he's talked some smack about Francis in the past, like talked about his work ethic and stuff like that. So it might have been, this might be old feelings still. This might not be just the new stuff. This might be old satty pants, Dana White. Because Dana White gets old satty pants. Big time. Randy Couture, Fedor. Oh, you see it with Dana. Dana gets big time old satty pants. Like, he'll hold a grudge for fucking eons.
Dude, why is
sad,
that?
Dude. I don't know.
This is business. I thought you were in business, making money.
Right. That's not a Vince McMahon trait.
No.
Vince McMahon doesn't care, right? Vince McMahon's about
selfish.
Vince McMahon's about a dollar bill.
Yeah.
Dana will leave a dollar bill on the table to prove like a point, and the only point he can really prove is the exclusivity the UFC offers, or the paycheck. But the paycheck is replicatable if you're a guy like Ngannou on the open market, because there are other organizations that have similar type money, maybe not exactly, but if they allow you to go do boxing as well and get that done, you are then getting to double dip, and a boxing payday with a Deontay Wilder or with
the double dip.
Right, the double dip, or with the Tyson Fury is going to pay you some serious dough.
Oh, serious though, yeah. Fight with Tyson Fury, you'd probably bring her like 25 mil or something.
So John wants Miocic, because Miocic is still the heavyweight GOAT. Like, at least in the UFC, he's not Fedor Emelianenko, but he's the heavyweight GOAT. So John wants him because, like I said, John is interested in cleaning up people that other people would perceive as like cock blocking his reputation. Mm-hmm. John's not into that. Yeah. John wants to be known as the best without question. That's really what floats his boat. So, like, he's not interested in there being like a debate. Like, oh yeah, John. He's like, no, Miocic. Like, now's the time to quit doing the firefighting, to get out here, because like.
He's been firefighting?
Well, yeah, Miocic has been a firefighter for a long time, but like that's and he's right, lineage-wise, payday-wise, Miocic is probably close to 40, if not 40 by now.
Oh, yeah.
It's time to get it done. But he's had a few years off, so I mean, it's not like he hasn't had the ability to settle down, not worry about, right? Like, same thing as John, heal up some injuries, get some stem cells, and get a knee rearranged or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
And get back out there, because that's a payday. That's a payday in the UFC, payday, man. Like,
why not?
Miocic and Jones is going to make buco amounts of the dough.
Right, if it's your last bout, do it, man. Just retire after that.
Right, and imagine if Miocic was able to beat John Bones Jones.
You retire after doing
you would go down as the GOAT heavyweight without absolute question.
Yeah,
without absolute question. And Miocic is another animal than I mean, we don't know what Miocic we're going to see, but if you see any semblance of the Miocic that you've seen in multiple UFC heavyweight title fights and defenses, he's considerably better than Cyril Gane.
Has he been training? Like,
me and him don't talk as much as we used to.
You're not in correspondence anymore.
I haven't been.
Shame. You guys go
our
apart,
text messaging relationship fucking broke
Long
up.
Distance is no good.
Sent him some illicit dick pics, and he was a little.
You guys could do a Zoom call.
He wasn't as keen on those as I thought he would be. Not as receptive.
Well, did you do the front and back like I told you to do?
I did.
Oh,
I did it just like you said. Yeah, this was just yesterday. It's been a rough 24 hours.
Unappreciative son of a bitch. Huh?
Grasso beat Shevchenko in that fucking UFC. What a
surprise.
That's a big surprise. Because I said yesterday when we did that Shevchenko was going to just bulldoze
right through her.
And so, like, that was an upset and a half. And like,
how many rounds did it go again?
Shota Grotto.
I can't remember. I don't know.
4. Neck crank in the 4th. So yeah, that was a tank move.
Yeah, no doubt.
So yeah, like she really put it on, because like I don't think anybody thought Grasso was like a legitimate contender. She's coming off 3 wins, but she's got a lot of losses in her career. And like we said, Shevchenko lost twice since like 2011, both times to Amanda Nunes, with his like weight class up, and is the best fighter in the history of that weight class and potentially in the history of women's MMA.
You only lost to one.
So person. You lost to the person that's looked at as the second best or the first best women's MMA fighter of all time, and you're the second. That's who you've lost to twice, and she's up a weight class on you, not the other way around.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the only. But like, Grasso.
That's not bad at all.
Grasso was a big upset. that was some other shit because I didn't pick that. I don't think anybody. I don't think anybody picked that. I don't think Drake bet on that.
No, you don't think so?
I don't think so. I wouldn't have touched that. I would have touched it the other way. I would have been very easy to let you know that I thought that Shevchenko was probably going to take that hands down.
I'm always an odd.
I didn't even say puncher's chance. Yesterday we talked about Gone, and I said Gone at least has a puncher's chance.
You did. You did.
And I mean, I'm sure a lot of people thought of that as being kind of a slight at the time, and now that they've seen the outcome, they realize what I was talking about, that at best he had a puncher's chance. Well, I mean, he did, right? If he would have caught him coming in, he might have knocked him out, but other than that, like, puncher's chance was the best he had because John's another level. I don't think... if you've been watching MMA as long as I have, which is over 20 years, man. I've been watching MMA since the late 90s.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen a lot of fights. I've seen all the prides and everything, like, when they happened.
Yeah.
It's like MMA to me, I've seen, and John Jones is some next level human being. He is not normal.
No, he's an evolution.
He is an absolute
he's
world,
a machine. He's an alien, a mutant, whatever you want to call him.
So Gone at a puncher's chance, which didn't pan out for him, and rightfully so. He'll go back into the pecking order where he belongs, and like until John is too old to keep up the paces that he keeps up now, John will reign, I would imagine, unless Stipe. Unless Stipe can, because Stipe has that pedigree too.
How old is John?
But Stipe still has some losses. John is 35, I believe.
35. He has a couple years left.
Oh my God, yeah. In MMA, he hasn't taken a lot of damage.
No.
What's the most damage John took when he broke the toe, pressing off with the foot? Like,
I think.
Yeah, John, I'm sure he's had a lot of things that we don't. Again, we're not in his DMs really as much as we used to be, so we're not.
Sad.
It's sad, right? John, call us. I miss you, John. Right, we can go drinking.
Yeah,
John loves drinking. That's why I figured I'd offer that up.
Be our goalie.
Right, you could come. Right, we could use John Bones.
Probably have good reflexes, catch those pucks, boom, boom.
Okay, so at the trade deadline, the NBA trade deadline, a lot of people were everyone was sold on an Anunoby going somewhere from Toronto. I'm pretty sure everybody thought Gary Trent Jr. was going somewhere from the Raptors. I'm almost positive that people would have bet you that other than maybe Scotty Barnes, even Siakam was going to move somewhere. And the Raptors brought in Plotel. They brought him back.
Who did they bring?
Plotel, Poeltl, something like that.
Plotel.
Jakob, I think his first name, something like that. Something like that.
That sounds so
But overall, I think he's from I want to say it was a Spur. I don't remember where the Raptors did that deal. Spur, Rocket, some Texas town.
Somewhere down south.
Some down south Texas town. So they played the Wizards yesterday.
How'd that go?
They've stayed the course. They made none of those trades at the trade deadline. Not one of them. Didn't touch them. Stayed the course.
Yep.
I think a lot of people were really second guessing the Raptors. The Nets obviously sold everything off. Everything. Nothing.
Sold it all off.
Well, yeah, Durant went to fucking Phoenix.
Right. Okay,
Kyrie went to Dallas. The Nets sold everything off. So the East dynamic changed considerably because the Nets are in one of those top 6 playoff spots.
Mm-hmm.
The Raptors stood fast. They didn't make any crazy adjustments, brought a piece in that seems to be playing well, whose name I can't pronounce. And because they've held tight, they look like they were going to make a playoff spot here. They beat the Wizards yesterday. The Raptors look like, despite everyone thinking Gary Trent Jr. should move, that Anunoby should move, that Pascal Siakam maybe should move, that Scotty Barnes, Fred VanVleet, they would have been happy to watch Fred VanVleet leave. Now the Raptors look like the Raptors might actually make not a play-in spot in the East, but an actual playoff spot, one of the top 6. Because the Nets are coming out of that 6th spot. The Nets will not stay there with Dorian Finney-Smith and Dinwiddie and Bridges and Cam Thomas, Cam Johnson. They've got a nice lineup. Like, don't get me wrong. I think the Nets have a really nice lineup for the future, things to build around. I'm not sure how many of those guys are going to be there 2-3 years from now, but the Nets do have some nice pieces that they can build around for the future. Cam Johnson, Cam Thomas, guys that look, Mikal Bridges looks like this guy talented, man. Really, really talented. But will they stay in that spot that they were in now because Durant and Irving and all them are gone? No, they're not. They're going to fall out of that spot. Somebody's going to take it. The Hawks, the Raptors, somebody's going to take that sixth spot. Well, those guys wanted out.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess if they wanted
those guys wanted out, and I don't think they want to be known as a franchise that wants to keep anybody here that doesn't want to be here. Which I think ultimately, which is a fine thing, but they did kind of get underpaid for it all. Like, it would have been a lot nicer, I'm sure, as a Nets fan, if they would have got more for Durant than Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, who they moved on quite quickly from, a couple of draft picks that are going to be lower. Phoenix draft picks, right? Phoenix isn't going to finish low, so like. And then for Kyrie, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Spencer Dinwiddie, and like a couple, maybe a pick. There might have been. They're not ridiculous.
No, it doesn't sound like that good of a team.
But they've got a lot of like nice utility pieces. But they're not going to stay in that position. And the Raptors, who stood pat when people thought everybody should get traded, the Raptors brought in another piece, which I think, again, a lot of people would have second-guessed and been like, oh, now the Raptors look like they're going to take that sixth spot in the East. Because the Raptors have been playing consistently good basketball since the trade deadline. And, like, the Raptors are healthy. A lot of those guys are good. People forget how good they were saying to trade Siakam. Siakam's fucking so good. You're not going to replace him. You're not going to be Durant. It's a prime example. Kyrie, it's a prime example. You're not going to get back the star power that you pull out of a guy that's that good, because why are you trading him? You must be
sweating bullets over there right now.
You got to re-sign these. I mean, the Raptors look good. They got to make some re-signings here, it looks like, because some of these guys are up here shortly. And if they're going to keep this nucleus together, and it seems like they're going to, instead of selling when it looked like it could have been a season they could have wrote off, that Barnes was having, like a sophomore slump. He just wasn't playing up to and he actually kind of is. If you look at Scottie Barnes' numbers from rookie year to this year, Scottie's not having that far off on any statistical metric. Like, he's playing really well. He's just not as dynamic as he was last season.
Well, everybody's falling off a little bit like that.
He's only like 20 years old.
Oh, wow.
I mean, like, the kid's young. He's 20 or 21. Like,
he still has to find his footings, right? He's sure to grow.
You could have easily wrote this season off and traded everybody out and said Scottie had an off year and now we're in a rebuild and da-da-da-da-da. And it was much more risky. It was a lot more big big dick energy type of a move to be like, you know what, we're going to hold on to Siakam, and we're going to hold on to OG Anunoby, and we're going to hold on to Gary Trent Jr., we're going to hold on to Fred Van, we're going to roll the dice. We think we're going to make the playoffs. Not the play-in, but the playoffs. And now it looks like they're going to fucking make the playoffs, dude.
That's insane.
Like, I like that move, because like I was one of those ones that thought it was time to make some trades.
What's about time?
I was no. I mean, it's obviously not. Obviously not. It's not about time. Keeping those guys was the move. Like, it was.
Okay.
Right. I was one of those ones at the trade deadline though that thought the Toronto Raptors were going to move out of that. We're going to like say enough of this. Like, we've got to make a change. We're not gonna. This isn't going to work. And in reality, what they did was they said, no, we're going to hold tight with this. We think we've got one little hole at center. We're going to try to fill that in here with this guy from Houston or San Antonio, where the fuck he's from.
Somewhere down there.
Mr. I can't pronounce your name. And we're going to bring you guys together and tell you guys, no, we're loyal. Let's stay. Let's do this Raptors thing. And now all of a sudden they're going to make the playoffs, and the Nets look like they're going to fall out of it, which the Nets part I expected. But the Raptors making it, if you would have told me that 3 months ago, the way the Raptors started the season, fuck no. I was still pretty sure they should have blown it up 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks ago at the trade deadline. I thought so, but not now, obviously.
No, things have changed.
Things have definitely changed.
Like I was saying, it's just a crazy thing. There's so many different variables. Things can happen just overnight that changes everything.
Teams get hot, and it makes it difficult to justify. But it's only in retrospect that you can look back and go like, wow, that GM like saw something that like we clearly did not see because the consensus on the marketplace, the consensus in the media, was that the move needed to be made. That there was no ability for the Raptors to make any type of headway with the guys they had on the court for whatever reason. Siakam's a fucking all-star, right? OG Anunoby's a beast. Like these guys are ridiculous basketball players. Scotty Barnes only has up to go. Like lots of talent in Toronto, but it seemed like the sentiment was it's over. And instead what Toronto did was they said, you know what, we're not going to trade any of these guys. We're going to bring somebody in and we're going to fucking stick it to y'all. And touche. So far, that seems to be working because they're trending into a playoff spot.
Well, that sounds good. Maybe they're doing the right decision.
I think so.
It sounds like it.
I think that's a decision they're riding into the offseason with now because there's no change in it. The trade deadline has come and gone, and the Toronto Raptors seem like they're going to be. So another team we were talking, actually two teams we were talking about yesterday, was the Timberwolves, who I love. I liked, maybe people are going to say, like, this is nice to be able to say this now that things are going well. And at the start of the year when things weren't going well, nobody actually would have came out and said this, like, with a straight face.
Yeah.
I liked the Rudy Gobert deal in the sense that I liked the Timberwolves bringing Gobert in. I didn't necessarily like what they gave up for Gobert.
Yeah.
But I love Rudy Gobert and what he does. And I thought he was going to be an excellent complement to Jaden McDaniels
So you think it's
and
gonna
to
be a right fit?
D'Angelo Russell and to fucking Anthony Edwards and to Cat. Obviously, beginning of the season, that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case at all because they didn't have that type of chemistry, and him and Karl Anthony Towns take up a lot of space, the both of them. And there just didn't seem to be that flow that I think a lot of people thought maybe. Well, I thought people were 50-50, but people were definitely hoping based on what they gave up for him and what Rudy Gobert's pedigree says coming into Minnesota, how good he actually is. People were expecting quite a bit. Like, they had to have been. I think a lot of people were expecting it to be a bust, and it ended up being one at the start of the year. It ended up being a horrendous bust where people were just like, what the fuck? Like, you gave up everything for this shit. And now, like, it looks like it's going to be bad for years because of the amount we've given this guy in guaranteed money and the amount of draft picks you gave up. And then since Karl Anthony Towns has gone out, they've seemed to have found some chemistry. There's a lot more space on the court for Edwards to be able to play off Gobert. Gobert's still a defensive monster like he's always been. And now the Minnesota Timberwolves have come from outside the playoffs to now inside the top six of the playoffs. They beat the Sacramento Kings in Sacramento last night. Sacramento's crazy good, but the Minnesota Timberwolves are they are on. We were talking about the Knicks and how hot they were yesterday. You could put the Timberwolves in that same category right now, where everybody who said that trade, that bringing in Gobert was a bad move. Whoa, it's starting to look like it was a good move. It's starting to look like you have Karl Anthony Towns as an asset to move out. Because I don't think Cat coming back is going to fix anything. I don't think they had no chemistry the last time. So when Towns is healthy, why are they going to want to plug Towns back into that lineup? Even though, like, I guess you maybe for the rest of this season if he comes back this year, but I would imagine he's fairly disenfranchised, seeing how he hasn't been near as effective as he thought he was. Because I think he thought sitting out a little bit, because it seems like he's been out with kind of finicky injuries all season. See, I think he might have been using it as a bit of leverage, like, because he wasn't really enjoying the dynamic either. Guys do that in basketball.
Do they?
Oh, yeah.
What? Is that just like a strategy?
I think so sometimes. I think it's a way to silently complain. You have the leverage to do it.
Okay.
Basketball guys don't really play full season, especially the superstars.
It's kind of like a little childish thing to do a little bit.
Right, I'm not saying he's doing that for sure. He might, like, genuinely be hurt, but it seemed like he kind of got hurt, like, in like a real minor sort of way. And then it's kind of like extrapolated itself over like a good period of time where like he hasn't come back and he hasn't really
this might be a game he's playing.
It's not working because Minnesota's looking really good.
Ouch.
So like he's going to be an asset they're going to be able to trade in the offseason. So if he comes back in this season, which he might, but if he does, I mean, obviously you're going to let him play because he's definitely a perennial all-star. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns is phenomenal, but you can now move out of a guy who is so phenomenal that you could get back some of those first round draft picks you gave up for Rudy Gobert, right? And you could potentially bring in a piece that you think will fit a spot that's more complementary to the dynamic you're trying to build with Edwards and Gobert, and not with Edwards, Gobert, and Karl Anthony Towns. Because clearly it's a Jaden McDaniels thing. There's other guys that are fit into this rotation now in this Minnesota team that have shown that Karl Anthony Towns, while being excellent, he's a beast, one of the best shooting centers of all time. Like, the guy's a giant and he can shoot, like, his hands are crazy, but there's not enough ball to go around. So that's just not the dynamic that's successful. Minnesota's showing now that things can be successful with Gobert in the lineup after how much they gave up. I think that's a big deal. Personally, I think it's a big deal. And Minnesota's been fun to watch. They've been
lately.
Yeah, dude. And Sacramento last night, that was a hell of a game. 3 points, like 126, 123 was a hell of a game. Like, those two teams going into the playoffs are some fierce Western Conference teams. Like I was saying yesterday, we don't think Sacramento can really carry a team. Like, anybody on Sacramento can really carry Sabonis or Beasley or anybody carry a team, or De'Aaron Fox into the third round in a conference final or a championship, because they just don't have the playoff experience yet. Mm-hmm. But once they get that after a couple of years, those guys probably will be just as good as any other team with the playoffs. But they can upset in the first round. They could get in, get hot, and upset a team in the first round. Minnesota could still do that. They're still very, very capable of coming in on a first round and beating a team that underestimates them. It won't happen in the second round, because by the time they hit the second round, they'll hit another team that all of a sudden now just came out of a first round win themselves.
Do you think there's many teams that underestimate Minnesota?
I mean, when you look at Phoenix, where I don't know what's going on with Memphis. Obviously, Ja today, something came out with that gun thing, and Ja said like he was taking a break. I don't know if that meant like a break from the team or
break from social media, break from what?
It didn't seem really defined, and I'm not sure if break from the dumb shit would be a good move.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if Memphis came out and like defined what he meant. I didn't see. That was a little earlier this afternoon. So like, we hope that whatever Ja does is the right move to like keep a good career on pace.
Smart enough.
But like, Memphis, I think, is one of the teams that everybody looks at is right. Go Milwaukee Bucks, says Jojo. Right. Go Milwaukee, man. Milwaukee Savage.
Bucks.
But I would say, like, yeah, Memphis is a team that a lot of people have their eyes on. If Ja's got his head, before he's doing stupid shit on IG Lives, they think that Memphis is a team to keep your eyes on, and I would agree with them. On top of that, obviously, Phoenix, Denver, who's never really been able to do it in the playoffs as of yet, like with this lineup with Jokic and fucking Jamal Murray and I can't think of what the other dude is. Big tall dude. Big tall son of a bitch.
Let me just go with the whole NBA roster. Big
tall son of a bitch.
Let's see. Is he on a team?
He's on the Denver Nuggets. He's on the Denver Nuggets. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. That's funny.
Did you hear about what Funko's doing? They're throwing away $30 million worth of Funko Pops.
Why?
Because they're unsold and they're taking up space in the warehouse. So they're throwing out $30 million worth of Funko Pops. Not donating them or anything, but just throwing them out into a landfill.
They're expired? What's happened?
So apparently they've taken up so many places, like in their warehouse, they're just piling up, that they can't.
They're just destroying them.
So they're just destroying them. So to throw them out into the landfill.
Are people still buying Funko Pops?
I don't know.
Is that still a thing?
I see them at store shelves, like in Walmart or Toys R Us.
So do I, yeah.
I never see them not out of stock.
I don't ever know. But I don't know how many they make and how many Chase figures there are, because you don't see action figures out of stock, but you see lots of certain action figures never in stock.
Yes. Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
So there is that as an issue. But like Funko Pops, are people still buying that shit?
I don't think so. I don't know. I'm sure they are. They keep pumping them out, but they're throwing $30 million.
I mean, I like action. I guess I like action figures, so it's pretty difficult for me to get on my high horse and be like, "Are they still making that shit?" Like,
right. I'm not sure. The whole bobblehead market is probably pretty.
Do they still make Beanie Babies? Beanie Babies is where it's. No. Should we just pick up that trademark? Is that a dead trademark now?
Beanie Babies? I don't know.
Pick up and start slanging Beanie Babies. You remember how popular that shit was?
Oh my God.
Are you old enough to remember that? Because you're a little younger than I am.
Yes, I'm well enough, old enough to.
Because that was like, what, 98, 99,
Oh, yeah.
2000? Beanie Babies was hella popular.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah,
that
right
stuff
there.
was fucking crazy popular with,
It was like 98.
what's dude's name that was on the TV selling that stuff? They had like the late night infomercials that were always on. It was
I don't know who that is.
like
I know what
Mark
you're talking about.
Madden. No, what the fuck is the? Oh, he was on WCW for a long time and TNA.
Oh, really?
Absolutely, and he was
And he was
pitching
selling-
Beanie Babies and Mark
pitching
McGuire
the
rookie
Beanie
cards.
Babies.
Speaking of which, I got a Julian Edelman card here. All right, buy that Julian Edelman card.
Hey, look at that, ladies and
Right.
gentlemen. Hey, buy it now.
So yeah, no, that's Beanie
Really?
Babies.
Beanie Babies. Yeah.
They don't still slang that shit. Eh?
I don't think so. I don't recall ever seeing Beanie
We should get into the
Wow.
Beanie Baby market.
We should.
We
I
should
think we should
start.
corner that market.
Right, you should start cosplaying or
As Beanie Babies.
as a Beanie Baby, like just in your general day-to-day life, like just
So
dress
I
up as a Beanie Baby. Like I feel like that would get a lot
think
of
it'd just be
attention.
the Beanie Baby tag. Beanie Baby tag.
I feel like you'd get a lot of people like asking you interesting questions, and you'd
Oh,
make probably a lot of
absolutely.
interesting friends.
But no, probably not the right.
Right,
friend.
Beanie Baby life. That's the life you're living now.
Beanie Baby life. Should I get
Right.
the tattoo somewhere?
On your ass. Can I tattoo it
Oh.
on there
I
for
was
you?
gonna say like under my lip or something. Like inside my lip, maybe on my eyelids.
That's not very inviting, right? Like
Right,
that's
but
a
I gotta
little
talk to people.
intimidating. I'm not sure you want to. Are you trying to scare them though, or are you trying to invite them into the cult of Beanie Baby?
Very
Because
true.
we're trying to reboot Beanie Baby here. We've got you cosplaying on a 24-hour a day out in public basis.
I could do that. That's
I want you more out there kind of grinding. I don't want you like,
chow.
right, yeah.
I can do that.
I don't want you.
Should I do
yeah.
that like downtown Jasper Ave or?
Well, where do you feel comfortable? Where do you think you're going to get the most clientele? What do you think is going to be the most advantageous? Like, where have you been sniffing around in your personal life?
Probably the bar, a lot of drunks there.
A lot of you're thinking, yeah, that's what you're gonna have to do is find somebody like extremely intoxicated.
No, I'm gonna have to be extremely
Oh,
intoxicated.
you're gonna have to. So you're just thinking like proximity wise.
Yes, exactly.
It's good to be close to where you're gonna have to imbibe.
Well, if I'm gonna be
to
grinding,
scrub
in
the
a baby outfit.
scrub the dreams.
Yeah, I'll probably be in like including some sort of furry.
But
like,
you'll keep your
outfit.
anonymity though. If you're just grinding in a Beanie Baby outfit, nobody's gonna know that's you.
Man,
So like,
you know how hot it's gonna be in one of those things?
how hot you're gonna be? You're gonna be so fucking hot.
So hot.
You're gonna
I
be
know,
so
of
hot.
course.
Yeah, you're
I'm gonna
gonna
stream
be-
it all from inside the head. The whole thing.
Right.
Stream it all. But
Stream
it's
the
very,
head
very
from
hot
inside
in
the head.
Beanie Baby suit, though. I don't know if I could pull that off.
I think you can. I think you're underestimating your abilities.
Well, let's get this whole Beanie Baby suit going. We'll get this started. We'll start tomorrow. I could do it.
We're gonna start tomorrow, right on.
Yes, exactly. Might as
I
well
like
start
that.
now than never.
I like that. Right, better now than never. You only live
Why would
once.
YOLO, baby?
Yo-
YOLO.
That's what
Speak-
Drake. Hey, that's how Drake won the 1.7
That's
million. It was
That's
that
it.
YOLO attitude. You only live one time. Drake knows what's up.
Drake
Trying to
does
get
know that.
paid. Trying
Yeah.
to get paid, my friend.
Yeah, absolutely. Hell yeah.
Okay,
Well, he did
I'm
one.
going home.
man.
I'm going home.
Peace.